What's up guys, it's the Horror Wombat, and we've talked a lot about public domain horror movies on this channel, from Mickey Mouse and the Little Mermaid to Pinocchio and Peter Pan. But have you ever wondered what it would be like if all those characters got together to be in an Ultimate Avengers style crossover? Well, not all of them, but some of the ones I mentioned. Well, if any of you guys did have something like that in mind, guess what? Today's your lucky day. From the team that brought you Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, as well as the upcoming Bambi the Reckoning and Pinocchio Unstrung, comes the ultimate crossover that I'm assuming none of you asked for, but what the hell, they're gonna give it to you guys anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Poohniverse Monsters Assemble. Yes, this is an actual movie in development, folks. This is going to be the crossover to end all crossover, guys. And you know what? I'm incredibly curious to see what these guys have in store for us, because there's so many possibilities to where this Poohniverse movie could be heading. So much crazy shit could go down in this movie. So for now, we're only gonna have to rely on the information we've been given so far. And there's actually a good amount to unpack. So why don't we go ahead and first take a look at the synopsis of this movie. And it reads, Poohniverse will see the monsters team up to take on the survivors from the previous films. Those previous films being Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Bambi the Reckoning, and Pinocchio Unstrung. Now, some of you are probably thinking, hey, Wombat, I think you forgot a movie, and I guess I should explain that now. So if you haven't seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, which I actually haven't seen it either, so this is actually a spoiler for me too, they actually made that first movie no longer canon to the Poohniverse. So what they did instead is that they turned it into a movie that exists within the universe, but it takes its story from the events that happen within said universe. So think of it as the Twisted Childhood Universe's version of Stab. You know, the fake movie that exists in the Scream universe that takes inspiration from the events that happen in those movies. That's what we're dealing with here. So yeah, the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is no longer canon to the Poohniverse anymore. I wonder why. Now, I figured since this is a crossover movie, I might as well list the all-star lineup of villains in this movie. So we got Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Owl, Rabbit, Piglet, Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, Captain Hook, Bambi, and Pinocchio, as well as newcomers Sleeping Beauty, the Mad Hatter, and Mary Poppins. Wait, guys, where's Spider-Man? Oh wait, wrong universe, sorry. So yeah, all of those fairy tale characters I just mentioned are gonna team up and go against the heroes from their respective previous films. And if anyone is curious to know what these characters look like, I'll go ahead and pull up the poster one more time so we can go ahead and deep dive this shit. So we got Winnie the Pooh riding on Bambi, which is an interesting choice for sure. It also looks like he's holding a bear trap that's attached to a chain. How ironic, a bear holding a bear trap. That dude on the top is Peter Pan. We got Rabbit and Owl off to the right over here. That's obviously supposed to be Pinocchio. We got Piglet holding what looks like to be a club. I'm assuming that dude is supposed to be Captain Hook because, I mean, look at him. He's got a hook for a hand. Who the fuck is this supposed to be? It looks like she's coming out from a grave that says Wendy. I mean, I doubt it's supposed to be that character. Wendy's supposed to be one of the protagonists. Oh, wait a minute, I actually think that's supposed to be Sleeping Beauty. I mean, that would make a hell of a lot more sense. You know what? We're just gonna label this person as anonymous. Okay, moving on, so that is obviously Tigger. That lady on the left is Tinkerbell because she's holding a heroin needle, and that's what she uses in Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. And this dude, I mean, he's gotta be the Mad Hatter, right? Who looks a hell of a lot like the Babadook. Okay, so while this is a cool concept poster, I just gotta bring this up real quick. So, quick spoilers if you haven't seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 or Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. The characters of Piglet and Tinkerbell, yeah, they both die. So that brings up two different scenarios. One, they're gonna be resurrected for this movie, or two, this movie's actually gonna be a prequel to both of those movies. I think logically the first option makes way more sense to me, because if this movie took place before both of those films, I actually think that would retcon both of them, particularly Peter Pan. Like, Wendy and Michael meet Peter Pan for the first time in that movie. The only way for this scenario to work is if Wendy and Michael aren't in this movie, but they've already confirmed that they're going to be in it. So the only way this is going to work is that if the characters who died in their respective movies are ultimately just resurrected. Or maybe they'll just pull some crazy time travel shit in this movie. Anyways, now flash forwarding to a couple weeks ago where we actually got another teaser poster for this movie. Looks like we got a face-off between Winnie the Pooh and Peter Pan looking a hell of a lot lot like the Green Goblin. But the thing that caught my attention the most was that the tagline says, "Place your bets." So wait a minute, are they now implying that the villains are gonna fight each other? So now we're dealing with some Captain America Civil War shit? Like, which direction is the movie going in now? Well, thankfully, franchise producer and director of Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare Scott Chambers was able to give us a little bit more context for a better understanding. In an interview with Comic Book, he said that Peter Pan is set up to be the most evil of all the villains, saying that he will be so horrible that the audience will end up rooting for Winnie the Pooh at some point in the film.
Every film will feel different, and this one is incredibly dark for a reason. I need you to feel a certain way about Peter Pan by the time we get to Poohniverse, because I need you to just not like him. I just need you to be against him from the get-go, because when he goes in the arena, for example, with Pooh, I need you to kind of look at Pooh like he's not so bad.
And if that wasn't enough, we got some details in regards to some of the newcomers like Mary Poppins and the Mad Hatter. Chambers said that Mary Poppins will also kidnap kids just like Peter Pan. And with the Mad Hatter being involved in the project now, Chambers states, "I think those three are going to be the worst of the worst. We've introduced Peter, and later down the line we will introduce the other two in their own films." So here's what I'm predicting. With the new information we've been given from Chambers and the new teaser poster, what I'm assuming will happen is that Winnie the Pooh and Peter Pan, along with all the other villains, are gonna have battles against the good guys. But then halfway through the movie, we're gonna have a Terminator 2 situation where Winnie the Pooh becomes a good guy, and he and Peter Pan are gonna fight to the death. And also throughout the film, Peter Pan is just gonna pursue the most sadistic, gnarly crimes you've ever seen. So bad to a point that even Art the Clown will be pissing his pants. Like, maybe he'll blow up a kid or something, I don't know. Obviously, there's plenty of different possibilities for this movie, but I like the ambiguity Chambers is bringing to the table nonetheless. But whatever we do get to see, all we can really do right now is pray that it ends up being good. And I think the Poohniverse guys are aware of that, because they've said that while the film is slated for a Halloween 2025 release, it could end up being delayed because they want to make this movie the best they possibly can. And I respect the hell out of that. I like that these guys are actually taking the criticisms of these movies seriously, and I'm wishing them the best of luck for this movie. And in the end, whether this movie ends up being bad or good, it's definitely going down in the history books, that's for sure. So what are your guys' thoughts on this movie? With how ambitious this project is, I'm genuinely curious to hear what you guys have to say. So let me know what you guys think about Poohniverse Monsters Assemble. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and bounce on over to that subscribe button like Tigger would. Why? Because I said so. Duh. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.